Hi guys, this is just a bit of an update to my E34 M20 Turbo project that I have. It's an ongoing, not saga, but ongoing project for the last year and a half that I've been turbocharged and been playing with my car. As some of you guys know, I added water methanol injection. It's a water injection system basically. Made by AEM Electronics. Link is in the description. Not a sponsor, just letting you guys know what I used, what I bought. Works great. The installation was the only, I'm not going to say tricky part, but time consuming obviously, because in order for you to install it, you want to root everything, hide everything the way, so it's out of the way, it doesn't get tangled up in anything, etc. So anyways, I have been running water injection. Actually, it's windshield washer fluid. It's windshield washer fluid that has alcohol in it, just regular blue windshield washer fluid that is rated to -40 Celsius, and it gets away with that by using alcohol, and obviously alcohol burns, and so basically I'm injecting water and alcohol, and that helps lower combustion temperatures, and at the same time it's a flammable liquid, so I can run more ignition timing, more boost, and have a safer running engine, provided things work correctly. Here's just a quick update on some of the issues that I ran into it, that might be of useful information to some. Any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments, and as always I will reply. Thanks for watching. So the added benefit of water injection, look at how clean the intake manifold is. All the water and the alcohol completely cleans it. And of course I'm not running I'm venting my PCV, so none of the oil fumes get into the intercooler. That's the intercooler, nice and clean. But the problem with the methanol or the water injection kit, hold on. Come on, focus. So the throttle body sits like this, and basically what happens is when the water hits the throttle body, it just runs down the shaft and right into the throttle position sensor. So I'm going to try to seal it somehow. Here you can see the wetness, windshield washer fluid just sitting right there, and you can see the wetness around the O-ring. It's actually on the inside, so at first I thought it was getting into the throttle position sensor from the outside, but it's obviously creeping in from the inside here. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to seal this now. Sorry, I wasn't looking at the camera. So the sensor sits on the inside here. I was hoping to put a rubber diaphragm across this opening. I might still be able to do that. Not 100% sure, but I will take it apart and fill it with dielectric grease. Maybe the grease will keep it out, keep the water out. Okay, so this is a day later. I really didn't drive it much. I just drove it home yesterday and then drove it to work this morning. And I did get into boost, and as well as obviously water injection. It was spraying. So I'm just going to take it off now and check for water that's mixed with the grease. Stay tuned. Okay, the sensor is off. It's difficult to tell if water is present, or at least on the sensor it's difficult to tell. Here in the shaft, there's a possibility of some water right there. Let me just turn this thing right side up. Yeah, it's still too difficult to tell, but obviously packing full with grease did something. On my way home yesterday, I realized, hey, what about a CIS O-ring, fuel injector O-ring? This might fit perfectly in here. So let me just squeeze that in, and then I'll get back to you. That's what she said. Okay, so I think I found the piece de resistance. Already here you can see this black thing here. It's a CIS fuel injector O-ring. Sorry about the extra light here. And I just squeezed that in with a little bit of effort, so I know it's somewhat of a snug fit. And as I squeezed it in, a bit of grease came out because I filled that bore with grease. Can't get this thing to stay straight. Come on. Let me just turn the camera off and on again. I need flash on here. Okay, so I used a fuel injector O-ring, a CIS fuel injector O-ring. I just squeezed it into place here, and as I pushed it down, a little bit of grease, dielectric grease, got pushed up because I filled that whole shaft. I filled the whole bore with dielectric grease. So I think this O-ring is going to do it. Now I'm just going to put the sensor back on. Sensor's looking good. I'm not going to take it apart again. As you recall, I filled the sensor yesterday with a whole bunch of dielectric grease. So I'm not going to put this on there, and I think that O-ring is going to seal both water and boost. Happy days. Sorted. It's as simple as that. No need for me to show you. So as you saw, I had to take that throttle body off of my engine several times until I sorted things out. The dielectric grease was a good idea in terms of having some kind of substance in that throttle body bore that prevents water from getting to the sensor, even when boost is present. The grease, though, because it is dielectric, it basically is not a conductor. And the TPS, there's a rubbing block. So as you open up the throttle, there's contacts that move, and as you go from closed throttle to open throttle, the voltage signal changes, and the engine computer uses that information to determine what kind of load you're giving the engine, and accordingly injects fuel, depending on little gas or more gas. So what the dielectric grease is doing, because the rubbing block is not making direct contact, there's a fine layer of dielectric grease which is affecting the voltage reading, or the flow of electrons, basically, electricity. The throttle, closed throttle position was not what it was supposed to be. Obviously, when you have your foot off of the gas pedal, it should be 0 degrees. At times it was fluctuating as high or sticking as high as 8 degrees. The fuel injection system is programmed so that when you take your foot off of the gas pedal with anything over 1500 RPM, the engine computer shuts off the fuel to the injectors, or shuts the injectors off, so that you get a free running engine, or deceleration fuel shut off, which also enables engine braking. So the reason I went for the TPS in terms of diagnosing, or the symptom I should say, is I was driving along and I noticed that whenever I took my foot off of the gas pedal, I would no longer lurch forward when the engine is engine braking. And I also looked at my little air fuel ratio gauge. When fuel shut off occurs, it would peg lean to over 19 to 1. When the engine is at idle, I would usually get about 13 to 1 air fuel ratio. So as I'm driving along and I take my foot off the gas pedal, there was no engine braking. I would not lurch forward because the engine is slowing the vehicle down. That did not happen. Then I saw the air fuel ratio gauge, instead of going to 19% or leaner, 19 or leaner air fuel ratio, it was sticking at about 13, 14, depending on the RPM, because it was obviously still getting some air and some fuel, and would actually stay on the richer side because obviously the throttle was closed. So anyways, those two things led me to do a bit of data logging, and that's when I saw that the percentage was sticking high of the percentage of the throttle. And then, like I said, I took the throttle body apart, or removed the throttle body, removed the throttle position sensor, and that's when I saw the water. I ended up, like I said, removing all of the dielectric grease. I used a lot of brake clean to clean it all out. It was a bit time consuming. And then I used a second CIS O-ring because the bore in that throttle body was actually deep enough to take on 2 O-rings. So I've got 2 O-rings in there, and they're sealing everything pretty good. And as you saw from the graph, I'm down to 0.3% throttle opening, basically closed throttle when the throttle is closed. I'm happy to say I've got engine braking again, so I can feel myself moving forward as the vehicle slows down. And on a standard transmission, that's basically what you want to have occur. You want some of the engine to brake. Oh, sorry. You want that fuel shut off so that you get into engine braking. If you drive a standard vehicle and you don't experience that, that'll give you that's a telltale sign that, hey, something's going on. You should have fuel shut off under deceleration. Anyways, that's it. Rambling again. Thanks for watching. More videos to come as always.